So we're coming into our third and final day sequence. Then we'll be following up with a night, and that will be the end. So we will draw up to 6 cards to our hand, and then pick a tactic for the day, and then potentially storm that blue city now, or maybe we'll come back and hit the white city. Just all depends on what I get in my hand at the beginning. But cool thing is we can kind of just like move back and forth. Let's zoom in real quick here. We can move back and forth really easily. We just need to move 2 and then another move 2 to enter the city. No matter what the city, it's always a move 2 to get into this city. So 2, 4 just to enter the white, and we just need, if we're over here, then we need 5 to enter the blue. So from here, we'll be able to see, as soon as I pick my cards, I'll flip these over, and then we can figure out if we're going to be staying here or heading this way. We might actually be able to do all of this during the day. Just depends on how we get our cards and when, I guess, is the timing of our cards. And I'd love to fill this out, maybe replace this one as well. So yeah. Before we do that, let's see the setup here. Training came in, which is definitely way too late for a card like this. You get to throw away an action card from your hand, take a card of the same color from the advanced actions offer up here, and put it into your discard pile. Way too late. The stronger effect is the same thing, but you can put it into your hand. Yeah, I mean, if I saw something really great up here, then I would consider it. But at this point, there's no reason for it. I'd probably end up going for Blood of Ancients. I'll be leveling up. I need 4 more fame to level up, and then we'll see another card. Probably going to take Blood of Ancients, as I'm saying. All right, and then we've got white, white, blue in the source. We have heroes, which are interesting in a way. They can, let's see, if you have positive reputation and you gain any influence from that up here, then you can multiply that number by 2 in order to hire them, which is pretty interesting. They've got a pretty good attack block values here, a heal of 4, and influence 5 if used during interaction, a reputation +1. So you're gaining some reputation by using your heroes to potentially hire some new units. However, if we're assaulting or attacking another player, assault would be in the case of laying siege to a city or keep any fortified location. We have to pay 2 influence to be able to activate them. We've got thugs we've seen before, and Emotep gunners. This is on my to buy list. A ranged fire attack of 6 would go really well if we can remove the fortifications that are around them. Some units do come unfortified, so ranged attacks can be used there. It does have a cost of red mana though. But regardless, if we can't use it, then we can use it for free for an attack or block of 5. Pretty decent, particularly with an armor of 6. We have chivalry and regeneration if we make it to a monastery to purchase of one of these. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're pretty much just going to be, heading into either white or blue, probably trying to pick up these gunners. Maybe the heroes too. I don't know. Probably not the heroes, but definitely the Imhotep gunners. And then either we assault both, or we just assault the one and then move on. for get ready for the night. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards for our hand, and let's take a look at them. As soon as we take a look, I'm going to go up and flip those over in the blue city because it is daytime and we're standing adjacent to it, so we can see what's inside. And I want to see them before I make a choice of anything. Battle versatility, that's good. We have siege, ranged, or just block. I mean, anything good for battle. Maximal effect with battle versatility could be really strong. A wound, but we can use that to pick up a red token. We have 2 reds here. Crushing bolt, swiftness, and threaten. Well, I mean, threaten would be good for picking up the gunners after we assault a city. We don't have any movement. Well, I think I see which tactic I'm going to go for here. Rethink, only because we could get rid of, let's see, we could get rid of the wound and we could get rid of that threaten, and then draw 2 other cards. We have a lot of good battle cards right there that would be perfect for sieging one of these cities. Gotta stand up here. Let's zoom in. What do we see? Okay, yeah, perfect. That's actually one of the things that I was looking for. It has like a little fortified icon with an X in it, meaning that it is not fortified. Well, this one has wings, so it's probably flying around the fortifications, and we can attack it with ranged. In this case, we don't need a siege to attack this one. They're called magic familiars. Now we've got some cursed hags. That's not too bad at all. And then what else do we have here? We have the freezers. These things can be pretty tricky because it has a swift ice attack, meaning if we have physical block, we need 6 normally to block an ice attack of 3, but because it's swiftness, we would need 12. So we really want to be able to take them out quick. Oh, by the way, that would be +2. So that would be 5, 10, 20 in order to block this. We definitely don't want to see that. We need to make an attack against this at range or with siege. Where's the other one? Oh, there they are. And then I think these are gunners of some kind too. The Emotep gunners. They might actually be in there wanting to fight us. Yeah, just gunners. So it's these guys. So as soon as we defeat them, maybe we hire them. That might be a pretty cool role-playing thing. So what we have to contend with here is that's physical. So we don't really have to worry about those attacks when it comes to these additions. But this is now an attack of 5, and that is an attack of 8. And if we remember that skull means that we need to take double damage, or we double the attack for incoming damage if we can't block that. So that's what we're contending with for the blue city. We can head over here. We just need a move of 2, and then we can peek inside of the white city. And I think that might be what we do, just so that we know what is in there. But before we do any of that, let's pass on Mana Steel. Let's take Rethink. We can discard up to 3 cards. Well, I'm going to discard Threaten and that Wound. We can include a wound in there. Then we draw that number back into our hand, and then we shuffle these 2 cards into the deck. So let's do that. that means that we're going first, which is probably a good thing, considering the number of white crystals the dummy has. She did pick up a red crystal last time, so it's not that bad, blue and red, but if they do draw that white, then we're in trouble for time. So, okay, discard those two. We'll just draw the top two. Ooh, come on. And tranquility. Okay, I mean, for crying out loud, we are assaulting for sure very soon. Let's put these back into our deck and give this a quick shuffle. This is one reason why I love having sleeves on cards, that particularly if you're shuffling them a lot, but also it protects the game while you're shuffling. So this is one of those few games that I really want to protect. Sometimes I've put sleeves on games and then realized afterwards that I didn't really need it. I was doing it because I thought it was kind of cool at the time, I guess, but yeah. All right. Well, we've got here Tremor would be good for either of the cities, but in the White Sea, if you remember, they have a +1 armor. So unfortunately, we can't use this bottom ability, but we can still use the top ability. This gets rid of that +1 and then further reduces it by another for all of the enemies. Or we could use it in the blue city right now, and that would drop armor pretty substantially for all of them by 2. So it would be from left to right, we'd have 5, 3, 5, and 4. And if we can come up with a lot of sieged attack and range, particularly for those familiars, then we won't have to worry about any incoming attacks, right? So we do have, I have maximal effect. I have battle versatility. This would be a siege attack 4 or a range attack 6. I also have this range attack. If I want, I can use this in combination with maybe the crossbowmen to come up with a range attack 5, and that would take out those familiars immediately. But I really do want to be coming up with, and then another siege there. I mean, heck, we could play this for 6 and then 8 more. Plus that is 9. So, I mean, we could lay siege to this place. We just need 2 movement to get in, and that I don't have. I have it right there, or I have my peasants. And that's actually a really good point there. I could heal my peasants and then throw them to the wolves immediately in this attack. Use their move 2 ability to move us into the city. I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to have a quick think about how I'm going to go about this, and then I'll be right back on the results. Or maybe we just run away, or we take a look at white instead. But I think because we're here, we just need a couple move. We should probably be fine. All right. So I think I've got something here. I don't know how much I like it, but it at least does a lot of damage all at once, and we can work on it again in the next round. I didn't think I was going to be able to take all this in one hand with 6 cards. I didn't think that was going to be the case, but we do have some good damage coming their way. All right, so we're going to move in. I'm going to play Tranquility to remove the wound from my peasants. So there it goes. Then we're going to use that move 2 to get into the city. So now we're into the city. I'm just going to put my little miniature on the card and then bring the card forward. Okay, so here's where it stands now. We will be playing, I need to play this first, Tremor. So in order to play that, however, I do need a green crystal, and there I have no way of gaining a green crystal. We have 2 white and the blue up in the source up here. I have 2 red and a blue crystals in my inventory, so I have no other way other than discarding a deed card. So this has to be discarded in order to gain a green, which hurts a little bit, but it's going to pay off. So now we have the enemies have an armor of -2 for all of them. And now let's start the siege. So we're going to use maximal effect here, the stronger effect, so that we can use the stronger effect of crushing bolt for free twice. But we do have to throw this card away after. So that is a siege of 6. Okay. In order to pay that, we're going to use this. Flip that over. We'll be gaining a red crystal. Put that in the inventory. And a red token. That token is going to be used right there. So I do have to remember that that card is thrown away after. Then battle versatility with that red token, or that red crystal I just picked up for another siege attack 2. That's 6, 7, 8, plus this is 9. And it's all physical. It doesn't need to be anything, else. And because this one has a resistance of ice, this one has a resistance of fire. So if I'm attacking both of them, then they both have fire and ice, but no physical resistance. Because of tremor, their armor is reduced by 2, so 5 and 4. Well, I have siege 9 up here, so these are both dead. That becomes a 5, 4 equals 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, just so that we all are on the same page. The 2 that were going to do the most amount of work against me are dead. Perfect. Now, in order to deal with these, however, all of this is gone, and all I have left, I'm just going to throw this card away before I forget. All I have left with me are my units. So, unfortunately, I've got to find a way to either mitigate as much incoming damage as possible or kill them, or both, like a little bit of both kind of a thing. This one has 5 armor, and this one only has 3 armor. So how can we do this? Well, since we can't do anything in the siege range attack phase, it now goes to the block phase. So we need to block 3 twice and 5. This one is brutal, and that one's poison. So in order to, let's deal with these ones first since they're smaller. We have a 3 and a 3, and they're both brutal, meaning they're going to deal twice as much damage if I can't block it. Well, I'd love to block one of them, maybe with the Utem crossbowmen, but if I do that, then I can't use their attack afterwards, and I'd really like to use their attack instead. This one would be the guardsmen. I could use the attack too, but they're not really going to be, it's not going to be helpful, so I could use that block 4 instead, and I think I'm going to do that. So block 4 for one of those attacks. Okay. The next attack, however, is going to go unblocked, which means I have to put 2 wounds into my hand, or I can assign them down here. So one thing I can do is, 1 wound is going to go onto the peasants, those poor guys, and then the other wound is going to go into my hand now. So that wound right into my hand. Now it's this one is now done. Okay. Now it comes to this one. It has an attack of 5, and it's poisonous or poison attack, which means if I take the attack, then I'm going to have to take 2 wounds into my hand, and then a further 2 wounds because it's poison into my discard pile, which I'll see in the future. Or I can put them both onto the Utem Guardsman because it has an armor of 5, and with the poison ability, they immediately gain the other poison. So they will gain 2 poisons. Or sorry, they will gain 2 damage. Okay. Maybe I'll need to find a way to heal, but right now it's not the time. Okay. Now, the only thing left for me to do is try and make an attack against one or both of them. And the only thing I have are the Utem crossbowmen attack or block 3. This is kind of why I wanted to leave this one open so that we could take this one out immediately. That leaves this one alive that we can attack at a future time, maybe next round. So we've taken those ones, the cursed hags, out as well. Or sorry, those are monks, aren't they? Yeah, those are monks. Those are not cursed hags. Cursed hags, I believe, are a type of orc enemy. Yeah, that's the case. Okay. Well, that one is also gone. Now we just have to deal with this at a future time. At the moment, it has what is it? 5 armor, but I can't come up with 5 armor no matter how hard I try. So I'm kind of just stuck. They stay where they are, and we just have to deal with them another time. But we can come up with ranged attack at a later time too. So they will go back onto the card. They're not so bad. We could do block 3 again in the future and try and find a way to make that work. We're going to take this, send it back up here. And our character, because we failed the assault, they get pushed back to where we came from. One thing I forgot to say at the beginning is when we perform an assault on a fortified location, we've done this in the past, I just forgot to do it here, we do lose 1 reputation. So we're right back to 0 in the middle, which is not a really bad place to be. Okay, well, we did some good work there, and we're going to gain some fame for it. Let's pop over there real quick. And let's gain the fame. We have 4, 7, and another 7. So that's 18 total fame from that one attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 77. There we go. We've almost leveled up twice in that one attack, which is not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. So let's now pick a card from the offer up here and a tactic. So in order, we can pull all these back because I kind of see one that I'm interested in, particularly, that. So we can grab a heal and a blue crystal. We can do that at the beginning of next turn, kind of a thing, to get rid of this or to get rid of those, to heal the peasants again. I don't think I'm going to use heal 4 to get these guardsmen back. They're probably just gone as well, but they will sit here until I know what to do with them. I do also have space there. But we will take a quick look at the other 2 options. Oh, I do like that one. I think this is, I don't know what it's called, hot swordsmanship. once a turn, attack 2 or fire attack 2. So when we get through the block phase, we can just give ourselves 2 more attack. Something like this would have been very helpful in that last fight because we didn't have a way of adding attack. We could have, instead of taking on those monks, we could have taken out the other one instead. So something to think about. That would have been a good one for that last fight. Just innate attack. So if I do want to take this or any of these, then I have to take Blood of the Ancients. And I already said that I wanted to take Blood of the Ancients because I feel like steady tempo and training are the other 2 options up here. I don't like either of them at this time of the game. A move card to just move like a couple spaces is not necessary in training. I don't want to add any more cards to my deck. So I'm going to take Blood of the Ancients. This is going to go face down on top of the my draw pile. And then I get to choose from these 5. This one's also a good one too. I think this is called like Taunt. During the block phase, we can reduce an attack by 1 or increase an attack by 1 and decrease their armor. This would go well with our Tremor that we just used because it would further decrease that armor. And then this one, I think some people just like live by this particular one, Motivation. Once a round on any player's turn, flip this to draw 2 cards. If you have the least fame, not tied, also gain a red mana token. Cannot use another motivation skill until the end of your next turn. So you are able to get, because I think most classes have one of these. They just get a different mana token. But in the case of a solo game, we always have the least fame. We always have the most fame too, but we have the least fame for some reason. So we also gain that mana token. So a red token and 2 extra cards does go a long way. I'm kind of looking at this, but I don't think I need more blue crystals. I just don't see a reason to take that. I'd really like to get this just because I know like I'd be able to use that in any assault or attack. But I have a hard time passing this one up, particularly for this side, because we could further reduce their armor. This just means we'd have to find another way to block. We can't do this outside of the block phase, so we can't use this before, or like we can't use it when there's when it's the range siege phase. I just want to make sure that's correct. Yeah, during the block phase. Yeah. This one's also interesting, but it's just 1. And if you're not getting a unit, then you can get +3. The good thing about that is in the blue city, we can use influence to take a card or take a spell. There's 2 in here that I kind of like. Burning Shield is a good way of getting some block. You can use Fire Block on physical, which I find strange. I feel like if it is physical attack, then you should have to have physical and the others produce half, but that's not the way it is. If it's a physical attack, you can use any type of block. But anyway, if it's used in a successful block, then you can also have Fire Attack 4 in the attack phase. So it's block and attack, which in my opinion kind of sounds like ranged. You just You just make sure that you can block the entire thing, and then you have more attack in the attack phase. Exploding shield at night or in dark places, you just destroy the blocked enemy outright if this is used in part of a block for that enemy. So that's pretty sweet. And this restoration I like quite a bit, particularly because we have so many wounds out at the moment. But a heal 3, but if you're in a force, then it's a heal 5. I mean, come on, that's pretty sweet. We do have a forest right nearby, so we could jump into that forest, heal 5. That would heal our wounds off of our units completely. And at night, you can also ready up to 3 levels worth of units. If you're in a forest, then 5 instead. So I do like this one if it is a wound heavy, but particularly that bottom ability where you can ready your units after using them in one battle, you can ready them up after to go into another battle. So this, long story short, would be pretty good for that. I think due to timing, I'm just going to be taking motivation so I can grab 2 more cards, because what I don't want is them to draw like a white and then another white, and then they're pretty much through their deck. So I'm going to take this one. I've already gotten in trouble with the dummy, so I'm going to take this motivation. It is yet another way to get red, but I did just pick up a red, so it's not that bad of an idea to pick up more. Let's see what's revealed. Yeah, a white. See, this would be fantastic for me right now. So maybe in the next level up, I pick that up. Okay. That would have given me a white crystal to use and heal up the peasants in the same thing. Finally, this is a really long-winded explanation here, but because I killed 3 enemies, I get to put 3 of my tokens over there under the card, meaning that when that 4th one is dead, it's owned by me, and each one of those tokens gives me +1 influence. Okay, now we draw up to 6 cards again. Here's our wound from the last 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we head over to the dummy. 1, 2, 3. It's green. We don't have a green at all. Fantastic. Pretty slow turn for over there. Let's clean up, of course, and then reveal what we've got here. Blood of the Ancients, we already know. Improvisation, another wound. Determination, and then the Emerald Ring. We don't have, well, we have move only with improvisation, but we have these wounds here, which is not good. Now we have 2 wounds. Before I forget, because I already did, ritual attack is the one coming in from our level up there. So that's another kind of throwaway to gain some stuff out of it. It's pretty good. Okay, so I could probably go in and make this attack, but I don't have a whole lot to do anything with. So I'm probably just going to stay here for now. The Emerald Ring, yeah, Blood of the Ancients. Okay, let's maybe think about this. Gain a wound to your hand or discard pile. Use the stronger effect of any card from the advanced actions offered without paying its mana cost. No. Gain a wound to put 1 from your hand. And I don't really want any of those. So because I've taken this, I think I'm just going to kind of use it as a sideways card, or I could use it for this, and then that way I can just have like a move 3. so that I can get in there. So one of the actions that we can perform, if we don't move, then what we can do is just rest. And in resting, all I do is discard any card from my hand, and then I can discard any number of wounds on top of that. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Blood of the Ancients and discard that. I kind of regret taking this because I don't think I'll be using it now that I realize that I don't want to use any of these, but I could still use Steady Tempo for like a move of 4, but I would still have to gain a wound in order to do it. So maybe this comes in handy at the end. So I'm going to discard that so that I can discard those 2 wounds, and I'll keep these 3 cards for the next round. Yeah, and that's just going to be the way it is. Now I could do this to get 2 more cards, but then I would probably lose that token. So I'm not going to do that. That's the end of the turn. 1, 2, 3. I have plenty of time, so I'm just going to do it this way. Green, white, and green. Again, they pulled green. That's it. Back to me. Okay, concentration, threaten, and force of nature. This might be what I need. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. So we're going to move in, and we're going to be taking some wounds, but we're going to be able to take them out pretty easily after 6, 5, 6. The only problem is that it has an armor of 7, and I can only get 6. So yeah, that is a problem. Nope, I think we'll be fine. We're going to take some wounds again, but I think we're going to be fine. So I'm going to play improvisation for the move of 3. That means I do have to get rid of a card here. And unfortunately, I think it has to be influence. Or I think I should use this now. So I'm going to use this motivation so that I can get a couple more cards, because I'd like to use that. That also gives me a red token, so I can use that maybe. We have swiftness and crystallize. Perfect. We can use those instead, because I'd rather use my threaten to hire something afterwards, or maybe purchase that spell. Healing would be a good thing to pick up right now. Okay. So I'm going to use crystallize as the discard card for improvisation. That gets me my move 2. Ooh, I just realized I'll be able to take it out. I will. Okay, even better. So that gets me back into the city. We'll pull all that back down here again. Unfortunately, because I'm assaulting the city again, I need to drop my reputation down by 1. Every time you assault a city or a fortified location. I was thinking this, but that's my range attack right there. So we're going to use, first of all, we're going to use Emerald Ring to pick up a green mana token and a crystal. Crystal, inventory, mana token I'll put there, and we get 1 more fame. Then we move into the range siege attack phase. We need to come up with 7 range and siege attack, and that's pretty easy because I have swiftness, concentration, and force of nature. So I can kind of put it in any way that I want, but because I have white in the source and that green, that's not green, that's, oh, and I have red too, but I'm not going to be able to use that. Green up here, a token there, then it really doesn't matter. Then Then I'm going to do this concentration on my force of nature. That makes it a siege attack of 3 plus 2 is 5. Maybe focus a little bit more here. That's better. And then I can use swiftness with white from the source for an extra 3. So 5, 6, 7, 8. That's enough to take these out immediately. Yeah, I could have used maybe the concentration with any one of these plus this, but that gave me 6, so that wasn't enough. That does mean that I lose that red mana token, but honestly, I don't really care about that. Okay, cool. Well, that takes care of the harder of the two cities. I'm only playing on like the normal level. Sometimes I bump up the level, but in order to show the game off, I figured it would be a good one to just play at the normal level. So this is supposed to be the harder city because it had more enemies, but because of what we have in our hands, it just made it pretty easy to take on during the first day. So let's gather the fame for this. That is 5 more fame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That allows us to level up yet again, and that gives us the best possibility for our hand limit of 7 now. We have 2 in our hand. I'll do some cleanup. Also, let's throw our token there. And I'm going to put this all the way back there to show that we do own it. There's 4 of our tokens on there. So we have 4 influence in the blue city that we can use to purchase a spell, which is probably what I'm going to do with restoration because of all the wounds that I have on my units, and I can use them again. All right, just going to clean up back here. And we just rolled white again. And then also, because we're in a city that we own, our hand limit is up by 2. So we have a hand limit of 7, and now it's 9. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 2. That is the rest of our deck. That's our entire deck in my hand right now. Let's see what Dummy does. Green, blue, and then blue. They do have 1 crystal, so we'll draw another one. That one was green. Okay, so let's take a look at what's in our hand and try and figure out what we're going to do. I'd like to pick up those Emotep Gunners. That's 8, but I can't do that and pick up the spell up there. So I'm going to do one of them and then maybe the other one after. And how I'm going to do that is right now we have 4, okay? So I can use this for a +3. That's it. That's my whole. That's all I have to do. But let's go through my decision here. We've got our cards here. We've got March, so we can maybe walk away and check out what's in the city later. We've picked up a wound, rage, stamina, mana pull. Here's promise, and then another move. So we've got all of the movement in our hand because we've already destroyed one of those. We have all of the influence I could possibly get, and then these other cards here. Not that they're bad or anything, but they're not going to be very helpful. I just want to see if that's true because if interacting with locals might be able to pick up multiple things at once. So as it goes, we can actually spend all of the influence in one turn and then see what we can get from it. It's called interacting with locals. So we can, for instance, purchase up a spell and hire a unit or two or whatever. We could also heal if that was available. So we can do all these things at once. Let's go full in with all of this, right? Oh, so I have 4 here. I can use this to produce 3 more influence, so that's 7 total already. Then I can use both of these for 9. Well, I'm going to use white from the source, that's 4, and I need a red. Well, how I can get a red is I have a crystals. I also can use this and discard that wound to pick up a red token, but I might use it so that I can, I might keep this wound in my hand so that I might be able to heal it after. I think that's all I can do. Something else I could do actually is this, but in order to use the, let's see here. In order to use it, I would have to use the white first. So let's do it that way. I'm going to put the white here. It says take 2 mana dice from the source and I can do whatever I want. Like put them on whatever side I want. I want white and I want red. There we go. They stay as white and red for the future turn. I don't re-roll those. So these will go back to the source and replaced with mana tokens. Perfect. So we do this and that. And now we have an influence of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. Yes. So what we can do with that is hire these Amotep governors for 8, and we're in a city location, so we can do that. Let's hire them, and we have space for that right here and under one of these tokens, and that leaves me with 9. Sorry, that leaves me with 7. Influence. And I'm going to do this to pick up the restoration spell, and that will go into my the top of my deck. So now I have a card there. But I do need to spend a mana token in order to do that, or just mana in general. And that can come from anywhere. What I could do is discard a card to gain a green. So that's what I'm going to do. Which card? Well, I've got a whole bunch of movement. I also have this like determination. I don't think I need that. So what I'll do is, yeah, I'll use determination. I'm going to discard this, and that gives me a green mana token, which will go towards the cost for the spell. And now that keeps, I still have a green crystal in my inventory. That's perfect. Okay, well that works out pretty well. All of this goes away. This does get re-rolled. It's white again. And I'll, oh, that goes away. Okay. And now I will go to the spell offer and re-up it here. Refresh it, sorry. And that is Mana Bolt. Mana Bolt's pretty good, but it's a very expensive spell because you have to pay blue in order to use it, and then you have to pay another mana to go with it. But man, blue and the green for siege, ice attack 5, right? Or cold fire attack 7, ranged ice attack 6. And then, of course, it's even stronger at night. So that would be a pretty good one to pick up for us. Since we have ways of picking up crystals, as we can see there. So let's end that turn. That means we pick up that spell we just picked up. Whoops. And it'll be in our hand for the next round, for the next turn. Now it goes to dummy, red, white, and white. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they still have cards in their deck. Only 2, so they have one more turn, and then they'll end it. So that gives us this one, another one following that, and then a third one to finalize the round. Well, we don't need that much. All we need to do is move and then use restoration to get rid of a bunch of these wounds. All right, so I only need 6 movement to get from the city here into the forest, and that's where I want to be. So we need 6 movement to get there. Well, I can do that pretty easily with March, Stamina, and March. Move 2, move 4, move 6. I don't even need to spend any mana on that at all. And then I'm going to use Rage here and discard it so that I can pick up a green mana token. That way I don't need to use a crystal from my inventory. So there's that. Because I only have, remember, white and red over here. Then I can use that green token to heal 5 because we're in the forest. Pretty sweet. So let's come take a look at my units. These guys are level 2. So it costs 2 heal to remove 1 wound from them. Well, 2, 4. And I can use the 5th one for my hand so that I have even less wounds in my draw deck. I'm going to go count to see how many I have there right now because I feel like I had a bunch, but 1, 2. That's it. Okay, that's not so bad. 2. So I can take a bunch of wounds and then heal them up again, I guess, in this forest. Wounds, honestly, the only thing that wounds are at the end of the game is negative points. So to me, that means nothing because I don't care about points most of the time. But I'll do points this one time just so that we can come up with a value that I can compare to in the future when I play this again sometime. Okay, well, cleanup is pretty easy. Everything gets discarded, and that is now goes to the dummy. Dummy only has those 2 cards, and when you see there's a white in there. Pretty cool to see that pop up at the end. It comes back to me, but because I don't have any cards in my hand, and I don't have any cards in my draw deck, I have to declare the end of round. Goes back to the dummy player. They get 1 more turn, but they also don't have anything. So it is now the end of the round. So I'll go through and do refreshing and cleanup and get ready for the final turn, the final cycle, which will be night when I have to assault that city. Right. And because I'm adjacent to the White City, these get revealed. I had done all of this um, and then realized I was not recording. So uh, we have these behemoths. I don't know what they're called. They are Grim Legionnaires. They also don't have fortification. I believe they sally out when we make the assault. Um, but they're also magical. They have magical immunity, so we can't force them to not attack, for instance. Uh, 10, but they get +1 because of the ability of the White City. Then we have Altem Mages, which are kind of a pain. They come in with physical um, immunity or resistance, which means to attack with physical, we'd have to double that. So 16, but because it's +1, then it makes it 18. But we could use these Imhotep gunners after the block phase, during the normal attack phase, with a ranged fire attack 6, and then we don't have to worry about that. But then we don't have to worry about so much of their armor. That would remove 6 of it. Then we just have to contend with the other 3 with physical immunity. So another 6 attack isn't terrible. But they have a cold fire attack 4, brutal, and poison. So to take a hit from them means 2, because my armor is 4, remember? So that becomes an 8, so we take 2 wounds and then 2 wounds into the discard pile. If it's the last round, it's the last day, I don't really have to worry about wounds, so I don't really care about them at all. The wounds, that is. And then we have these crossbowmen, pretty simple. But all together, with that +1, this becomes 18, 22 plus 3 is 25. And we have to attack these ones by themselves, or they'll bring that physical immunity or resistance with them. If I was to group these two, then both have that physical resistance, making them even more harder. But I think we'll be fine. We just have to come up with a way to take them out quick, because an attack of 11 is pretty difficult to block. But without fortification, that might not be so bad. So, yeah, that'll do it. That's the end of day 3, our last day sequence. We're going to go into night 3, which is the last night sequence, and then it's the end of the game. I'll do some cleanup now and get ready for night 3. All right, so we're going into the third and final night and the final cycle of this game. And we're standing outside of the White City. We've already revealed everything the previous day cycle. I'll be drawing up to 7 cards now, picking a tactic, and looking at how we're going to assault the White City. However, before we get into that, I just want to go over one last time what is available to us for this final round. Not that I'm expecting to get much. Potentially I get a level up, but it's probably going to come too late. So we have Blood Rage. That would probably be a really good thing if I get to pull my that last card that I drew, that last action. Blood of the Ancients, I think is what it was called. Yeah. So I might be able to use this for free without taking it into my hand. The other thing that came in was Snowstorm Blizzard for the spell offer. I really love that one. There's also a fire version of that, where you're just doing a ranged attack or a siege attack. This one is ice, of course, but a siege attack 8 with ice is pretty huge, even though you're taking a wound. Who really cares? This is what's in the offer. We have some sorcerers, magic familiars, and ice mages. All of them good for their own reason. And then we have ambush and pathfinding if we make it to a monastery for some training. Obviously, that's not on the top of my list of things to do. We're going to assault the city. So let's draw. Let's draw up to 7. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards for our opening hand. Now, what I could do is, or maybe what I could have done in the last day cycle, is end the round next to the blue city so that I could draw 2 more cards into my hand. But I'm going into the white city with 3 enemies with 7 cards. I don't think it's going to be too nasty, and even if it is, then honestly, it's I can just assault a second time, and we've got all the time in the world right now. So let's take a look here. We have restoration. So yeah, if we take hits, I guess we can go back into the forest and heal up. Stamina, that's good. We can use that to move in. Concentration, perfect. Maximal effect. That would be really helpful because now I don't really care what card I get rid of. I'm hoping I have any. Okay, we have battle versatility. I was going to say, I'd like to have some attack cards. Battle versatility, mana pull, and force of nature. Nice. Okay. Well, we'll move in with this. Probably use maximal effect on one of these and then concentration on the other, something like that. Mana pull if we need it for something. I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, so that's my opening hand. I think what I'll probably end up doing is using this almost immediately, just so I can get a couple more cards and try and finish the assault in one hit. I don't see Long Night being useful, so I'm just going to take from the dusk, and that means that we get to go first, so that if it does pull a white again, then we don't have to worry about the timer. If we're going first, the timer isn't as important. Now, if they pull white and then they do white again, then they're going to be calling the round pretty quickly. But let's go first. Try and do as much damage to the white city as we can in this first round, and then we'll see how much time we have after that. Okay, so as I said, I think the very first thing I'm going to do is play this. I'm going to draw 2 more cards into my hand. We have Swiftness, great, and Tranquility, so we can heal a little bit more if we need to. Maybe I heal up those peasants and then knock them again. That might be a cool thing. Well, as I typically do, I'm going to look through what I have for options, but honestly, we have maximal effect and concentration, and then 2 attacks with siege range. I could even use swiftness instead of battle versatility, and then we can figure out how we can use this afterwards. But anyway, let's see what I can come up with the right, in the source we have red and green. Red, green, mana pull. So I can use the source instead of my crystals. And maybe we use the crystals later. So, okay, let's see what we can come up with. All right, I think this actually will be done right now. Yeah, we're getting really close. So I might as well start showing you, and then I'll figure it out as we get along. So first, we play move 2, stamina to get in. That card is now gone, or like kind of discarded. We'll pull it up here for now. Now we're into the city. We just needed a movement of 2. Then we have these 3 enemies. Well, I play Monopole, top ability for the basic effect. We can use an additional mana die from the source this turn. Done. We also gained a red token here in from motivation. So we can use 2 dice. Well, we've got red and green. Red here, green here. That gives me, I can throw away swiftness from maximal effect and use the stronger effect twice for free. So that is a range attack of 6. Then we move over to concentration. Well, we play the stronger effect for free, plus 2 for any type of attack. We have a siege attack 3, 4, 5. So this plus this is 11, and that's perfect for this guy because we do have a +1 up here. That's 11, so he's dead because he is not fortified, which is that icon there. We can use ranged. We can use a combination siege and range in the range and siege phase. We can't do that to these. We have to use siege only for them. That's fine. I don't need to worry about that yet. And I don't have enough siege. I could play this, but that's just a siege of 2. With this is a siege of 3, in which case that would be good for this. But I have other plans for this. If I had enough, I would still skip out on it. Well, even though it has 4 plus 1, so it's 5. And I can only come up with 3 anyway. So that one is gone. I'm just going to kind of clean up a little bit here so that we can continue the onslaught here. This one, unfortunately, I have to take the hits for. I'm not going to have anyone else take the hit because if I do, then I can't use them. So what it is, I have a value, an armor value of 4. It has an attack of 4. Because it's brutal, it becomes 8. And because it's poison, I have to take the number of wounds that I take to my hand, put it also into my discard pile. Well, 2 wounds for the hit because of brutal into my hand, and then 2 wounds go into my discard pile. Not bad. Moving on. Now I have this guy to contend with. He's been fully blocked, so we'll come back to what that means during the attack phase. I have this guy to contend with. Either I take 1 wound for the hit, for the attack, or I come up with block 8. Well, I could do that right here. I have a block 4, but it counts twice against an attack with swiftness. I could do that. I don't think I'm going to do that because I have so many heal cards in my hand that I don't really think it matters. So I'm just going to take the wound to my hand again. There it is. So now I have 3 wounds in my hand. There is a thing called, I think it's like passing out or being knocked out. I think that's what it is. Where if you take a number of wounds into your hand in one combat that equals or exceeds the number of cards you can hold in your hand, then you become knocked out and you can't continue. This slows down progress quite a bit because you then have to discard all of your non-wound cards from your hand. And then in the next round, because you only have wounds in your hand, you can only, in a multiplayer game, you show everyone playing that all you have is in your hand is a wound cards, and then you can only discard one to draw another one. Then in the next phase, you have one non-wound, and then your hand has the rest of wounds. You could potentially just discard that one to get rid of all those wounds. They all go into your discard pile, of course. So getting knocked out is kind of a bad thing. It's not the end of the world. It just really slows down your progress. And when you have a timer that's like mine, and they pull a couple whites, well, then you're getting kind of screwed. So I'm okay taking wounds right now because of this. So we'll see those in the next phase here, in my next turn. Okay. So now what? Well, I only have this, and they have both their attacks have come through. So I need to either come up with 8 plus 1 is 9 times 2 is 18 physical attack, or 8 non-physical attack, and then 4 plus 1 is 5. So I've got some work to do here. However, I have some fire attacks as well. So we have the Emotep Gunners here have a ranged fire attack 6. If you remember, I have that red token sitting up here, so I can just pull that right back down and say ranged fire attack 6. This just becomes a fire attack 6 at this point. Range is just ignored because it's in the attack phase now. So now I have, that's 6. That's 7 because this is either physical or fire siege attack. So that's an attack of 7. Well, I need 2 more. Can I come up with 2 more? It would have to be 2 more non-physical attack. And I can right here, a fire attack of 3. So I do that. Fire attack 3, I need a red for this. So what I'm going to do is just take that from my inventory and place it right there. So now I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is a little bit of overkill, but at least I've dealt with this one. Now look, I just need to come up with attack 5. Well, I've got my 2 units down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's over. It's over. I have 3 wounds in my hand along with 2 healing cards. That worked out really well, huh? And I've taken out the White City in 1 turn. I was kind of hoping that I could do something like that because typically the first city at level 5, the first city that you reveal on normal difficulty is 5, and then the second one is 8. I'm hoping you can see these tiny little numbers right down in that corner there. 5 and 8. The first one should be fairly easy to take out in a turn by this time in the game. And the second one or 2 turns is fairly normal. So, well, we did it. Honestly, that is the game. And we've completed it successfully. But rules state that when we defeat the second or all of the cities on the map, that basically the dummy doesn't get another turn, but we do. We get to have a second turn to kind of gather ourselves and maybe get some more points. So funny, we have just enough to put these out here. We've taken those out. This gets flipped over, so I'm just going to do some cleanup here. We've got 2 dice to roll, 2 greens. Would you look at that? That goes away. And all of this gets discarded. And there we go. I will now gain the fame for this. I forgot, and I typically do forget this, but we do lose 1 reputation for assaulting a city. We have 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 3 is 19 more fame for this last one. 19 on top of 83 is, that would be 92, plus 10 is 102. So we've even leveled up 1 more time, which is okay because we get to get some extra points from that. So let's go through the motion here. I'm just going to take this one because it's in the first slot there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to take that one. Let's take a look at what my other 2 are, other 2 options here. Yeah, I don't really care about movement, and I don't need this one. I'm not even going to explain it. So those are going to go away, and I'm just going to take this for an extra heal. Sure, whatever. It's also going to give me a crystal, and crystals give you some extra points in the end game. So we're going to go through all of that. As I said, I don't typically do this. If I'm just playing by myself, I don't care about the points. But how about making a baseline for future gameplays here? Okay, those all go away. And yeah, I'm going to take this, goes on top of my deck. Now typically, dummy would get a turn, but dummy is all done because it's the end of the game. I'm sitting inside of a city, and I need to get rid of wounds would be a good thing. Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for my hand limit, plus 2 because I'm in a city that I own. So we can hire units, get rid of wounds. We can, if we can pick up some more cards, that might be worth it. If we can pick those up, these all give us points in the end. I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything up here, but maybe if I can come up with some influence, then I'll be able to hire another one. And basically you get the number of points equal to its level. So let's try and maximize here a little bit on the incoming points. We get our ritual attack, tremor, that would have come in handy, improvisation, and a wound. That's actually pretty good. We can get rid of that. Improvisation is a good way of coming up with 5 influence. So maybe we do something like that. I think the first order is let's get rid of as many wounds as we possibly can. So we'll flip that. That gives us a white crystal and gets rid of a wound. Here. That's gone. Then I'll flip this over to give myself a red crystal into my inventory. And then I'm going to pick up a black. Sure. Just for I don't know. We'll see what I can do with that. Since that spell works in the forests a little bit better, maybe I'll head into the forest. But I would have to come up with 5 movement. Oh, actually, yeah, I can do it without getting that black, but that's okay. Let's see here. How can I do this? Well, I can play this is just a heal 2, or I can draw some more cards. Let's grab green from the source. I can get rid of this one and that one. I don't even need to go into the forest now that I think about it. I can discard this so that I can get a green token. So that's used, that's discarded. Let's grab a green token so that I can play, I can play the stronger effect, why not? Then that is a heal of 3, so there's 2 more. And then I can ready my units. And that was kind of, I was happy to see this because if I had to go in a second time, I could just use all of my units and then do it again. But we could ready up to 3 outside of a forest and 5 levels inside of a forest. So that one would be 3, 4, 5. That's kind of how that works. Let's see here. Then I can use this for some influence and maybe pick up 1 more unit. So I think instead of going for that black, which is kind of useless, let's just take the red and I'll use a token there. That gives me 5 influence. I get 3 more influence because I own the city. So that is 8. And unfortunately, I have -1 influence because of my reputation. So I only have 7. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. Yeah. I do have 2 more influence here. Perfect. So that gives me 9 influence, and I can just take either the sorcerers or those ice mages, and really it doesn't matter. Let's take the ice mages just because it's more with the story. We beat those Altan mages. Maybe that's what they were. Then I can immediately do this. This was a better one to take anyway. I will use this to gain a blue mana token and a blue crystal to your inventory. So I can gain a blue crystal, which will give me some more points. And then a blue token just goes and sits out on the play area. And that's done. I don't really need to do anything else. I've used all of my units. I've used everything that I possibly could. I don't think there's anything else that I could do. Not really. Okay, so let's count. Yeah, that's pointless. I'll pick up here and I'll organize myself a little bit better so that we can go through the point system and see how many points I left the game with this time around. Here we go into the point system and how this works. This is just a kind of a player aid way of showing where we get points. And because we are playing the like solo, then I'm not going to count any of this. I just count this side, and then we have some other stuff on the backside. So let's do this first, this backside. For each, because it's a conquest scenario, for each conquered city, city leader gets 7 fame. Well, we've conquered 2 cities, so we get 7 more fame. We're at 102, so that puts us at 109. Okay. Then others who contributed, well, we don't do that. Co-op and solo scenarios, 10 per city conquered. So that's 20 more points. So we're at 29. 129, that is. If all cities were conquered, another 15 points. 144. If each player is a city leader, that's co-op only, so we won't touch that one. 30 points for each unplayed round. Well, we did make it to the final night, so that doesn't work. 1 per card remaining in the dummy player deck. That was all of its entire deck is 16. And then I actually put these away, but I think it's right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So then another 5 for each round, not including the last one. So 16 plus 5 is another 21. So 44, 45, 65, 165, and plus 5 if the end of noun was not announced on the last round, which is the case, 170 points. And I haven't even gone through my deck yet. Next, achievement bonuses. The greatest knowledge, we get 2 points for every spell and 1 for every advanced action card. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Funny how I picked up a lot of reds there at the end. But, she's red. So that's 4 more points plus 2 green spells. Funny. 2 green spells is 4 plus another 4. That's 8 points. 178. 2 for every artifact. Well, I had an artifact and I got rid of it. I actually also got rid of Crushing Bolt. So I just lost out on 3 points out there. But hey, it made me very powerful for those turns. So it's okay in my book. So no points there. Then for every 2 crystals, you gain 1 point. While I have over here, I'll just won't pick them up. We've got 6 crystals, so that gives me 3 more points. 79, 80, 81. The greatest leader. So for all of the healed or full health, I guess, you gain the number of levels it is and value of points, and half of that if it is wounded. That's not the case for me. I have all of them are fully healed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points for that. 82, that goes up to 92. 192, that is. And then the greatest conqueror, so 2 points for every keep, mage tower, and monastery. Okay. So there's a keep, so that's 2. Monastery, 4. A mage tower, 6. I think that's it. Yeah, so another 6 points there. And then 2 points for all of the adventure sites, I guess. The monster den, the dungeons, ruins, spawning grounds, and tomb and tombs. So that's all the other locations except for these orcs. So yeah, they never had to have one. I just put them there for fun. So that's another 2 here. And dragons, we don't get anything for those. And then a spawning ground spawning ground out there. So that's another 4 points there. So total, that's 10 points for those locations. That brings us up to 102. Sorry, 202. Anything else? Yes. So minus 2 points per wound. That's unfortunate. That brings me down to under 200 points. I was kind of excited about that for a minute, but I have 3 wounds in my hand, so I lose 2 points each. That's 198 and 96. So, wow. 196 points for that. Not so bad. That's not so bad at all. And I don't really care about points all that much, as I've said. But there you go. I think that's a pretty good place to start. I've set the bar pretty high for myself for when I come back to this sometime in the future. I have so many other games that I really want to play that isn't Mage Knight, but I would love to play some more Mage Knight on this channel. So if you enjoy this game, if you find that if you found that I made any mistakes, please let me know. I'm pretty sure that I have made a mistake or two in that gameplay. I don't know what it is, but if I did, it's always nice to know when I make mistakes, so I can learn in the future. And yeah, that would be, if you're excited to see more of this, then do let me know that as well, and I can maybe bring it back a little bit earlier. But there's all the enemies and the various tokens that I've gathered throughout the game. Good pile there, really good pile. When it comes to playing a game by myself, this is the game that I like to turn to due to the fact of the story that it builds. I mean, looking at these tokens here, man, it is just an unbelievable story. That one night, I think it was night 2, where I took on 2 dragons and then crossed this desert twice. It was just such a such a crazy night. I think I started here, crossed this desert, over to the spawning grounds, took that on where it had a Gorgon or a Medusa and a Pain Wraith, I think. Yeah, these 2 guys. And then crossed the desert again over to the Blue City and then took on a High Dragon. What? Just such a crazy story that unfolded from that one night. And then the next day took the Blue City. They probably were shaking in their boots after they watched me just kill that High Dragon outside. The White City didn't see who attacked this, but they figured it out soon after. Man, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. The story that comes from this this gameplay is phenomenal. And as for solo games, this is perfect. I'd like to play this against somebody, but I don't think I'd really enjoy playing it as much as I enjoy playing it solo. The fact that, I mean, I think it would be fun in its own ways, but to sit down and just play to my own pace, sit, have a think, figure out the puzzle for that one turn, and then do it is nice. And the fact that I can do it over a couple days as well. So typically, even in this game, I get so excited about the next round, the next like night or day cycle, and I draw the hand, and I'm already trying to figure out what to do. So I did it in this game as well. At the end of the night when I was playing, I drew the next hand and really tried to figure out that puzzle before I went to bed, because it just draws me in so much. It's just such a good game. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed Mage Knight in these episodes. Did, let me know by leaving a like or a comment. And with that, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time.